In this chapter, we are going to study solar energy and sun's rays and Earth's surface, heating of the atmosphere, Introduction. Have you ever observed cool morning, hot noon and cool night? Some months of the year are very hot while the other months are less hot. These changes are due to variation in temperature in one place. The reason for the temperature variation is the unequal distribution of sun's heat on the Earth. Solar energy and sun's rays. Sun is the main source of energy on the Earth's surface. Solar energy is the energy that heats the Earth.
Emitted by the sun is called solar radiation.
The energy from the sun comes in the form of different rays. The energy radiated by the sun is more or less constant with little variation. This energy received by the Earth is known as incoming solar radiation. It is also termed as insolation. And light in all the directions. Earth receives only a small amount of sun's radiant energy, because of being very small in size. Of the solar energy is reflected by the Earth's atmosphere. Some portion of the energy is scattered and absorbed in the higher reaches of the atmosphere. Some of the harmful rays of sun like the UV rays don't reach the ground. Sun's rays and Earth's surface. The rays that reach the ground do not heat the Earth's surface uniformly. Main reasons for the variations in the distribution of insolation on the surface of the Earth are rotation of the Earth, the spherical shape of the Earth, the inclined axis of the Earth, revolution of the Earth around the Sun, curvature of the Earth's surface. Sun rays fall at about 90 degrees on the equator. Sun rays fall slantingly towards the poles. Of incidence makes a difference for the amount of energy received on the surface. For example, if the insolation received at the equator is 100 units, then the amount of the insolation varied at different levels. The equatorial region is usually cloudy after midday and less sun rays fall on the ground. Equatorial regions are not as warm as the regions immediately north or south of them. Due to the revolution of the Earth, the angles of incidence constantly change. The angle of incidence increases in the north during the winter months and decreases in the summer months. And water contrasts. The temperature distribution over land and oceans is different and varying. The land gets heated through the process of conduction. Water surfaces get heated by the process of convection. Insolation goes below water's surface and is distributed over a larger volume. Do you know why there is a difference in the heating of land and water? Since land absorbs more solar radiation, the land surface retains more heat, as do the vegetation for energy. Thus, land surfaces warm more quickly than water. Test yourself. Which is the only primary source of heat and light on Earth? A. Radiation from planets. Answer is C. Solar radiation. Explanation. Heating of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is not heated directly by the sun rays. It allows the rays to pass through without being heated by them.
At this table that shows the average monthly temperature of Hyderabad.
The sun rays first heat the Earth's surface that begins to radiate heat, which heats the atmosphere. The air is warmer near the surface of the Earth compared to the higher reaches of the atmosphere. Heat balance. The balance between incoming and outgoing radiation is known as a heat budget or heat balance of the Earth. The heat received from the sun is radiated back by the Earth in different ways. Incoming solar radiation is maximum at the equator. Insolation goes on decreasing as we move towards the poles. Incoming solar radiation is more than the outgoing up to 38 degrees north and south latitudes. Beyond, 1/3 of heat is immediately reflected into space. The rest heats the Earth's surface, which in turn heats the atmosphere and eventually is radiated into space. Complete radiation of the heat received from the sun is important. If the entire heat is not radiated, then the amount of heat that remains will accumulate and it will become hotter. If the Earth received less heat than it gave out in radiation, it would get cooler. Reflection. The land is slightly undulating and sloping, resulting in variations in the amount of solar energy received on the land. Solar energy passes through the Earth's atmosphere. Some energy is reflected. Some gases, like carbon dioxide, prevent radiation of heat from the Earth. These gases are called greenhouse gases. This effect is called the greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases due to increased use of diesel and petrol, cutting down of forests, etc. Increased proportion of carbon dioxide will result in reduced radiation of heat, causing an increase in global temperatures. This results in global warming. Temperature of atmosphere. The interaction of the insulation with the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth create heat, which is measured in terms of temperature. The temperature has a dramatic and complex effect on the environment around us. Temperature varies over space and time. The temperature is the measurement in degrees of how hot or cold a thing or a place is. Temperature is measured by the thermometer. There are 3 temperature scales in use today: Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. Scientists have recorded the highest and lowest temperatures reached on the Earth. In Ezeiza, Libya, in July 1922, the temperature reached 57.8 degrees Celsius. At Vostok Station in Antarctica, the temperature fell to minus 89.2 degrees Celsius in July 1983. Is maximum and minimum thermometer used to measure the highest and the lowest temperatures of a day. The maximum temperature is read from the scale at the end of the index on the right-hand limb. The minimum temperature is read from the scale at the end of the index on the left-hand limb. Recording temperatures. Note down the highest and the lowest temperatures of the day by using 6's maximum minimum thermometer. At the end of the month, calculate the average maximum temperature and average minimum temperature for the month. Calculation of average temperature, adding up all the maximum or minimum temperature or total number of days.
An activity for you.
Temperature variation. Different places have different temperatures due to the following reasons: latitude, altitude, distance from the sea. Insolation varies according to the latitudes, hence, the temperature also varies accordingly. Temperature is increasing or decreasing with increasing altitude, thus, mountains are cooler than the plains. Places near the sea and far away from the sea have different temperatures.
Look at the temperatures of Panaji, city lying next to the sea. This table shows the average monthly temperature of Panaji. The temperatures of the places located far from the sea, Hyderabad, and near the sea, Panaji. And extreme climates. Places near the sea, like Panaji, usually have temperatures that remain fairly constant throughout the year. They have a moderate climate. The sea doesn't get too hot or cold, so the air above the sea also doesn't get too hot or cold. It has a moderating influence on the temperature of the places located near the sea. Places, like Hyderabad, that are far away from the sea have extreme climates. There is a great difference between the maximum and minimum temperatures. There is no moderating influence of the sea at such places. In the summers, the ground temperature rises very high and this heats the air. In winters, the ground temperature falls and the air is also cold.
Temperature. Temperature decreases with elevation. Mountains are cooler than plains. The highest parts of a mountain generally have the lowest temperatures. Look at the graph showing the average monthly temperatures of Delhi and Shimla. Compare the temperature charts of Delhi and Shimla in each month of the year. The temperature of Shimla is far lower than that of Delhi. Delhi is at an elevation, height, of about 200 meters above sea level, while Shimla is at an elevation of about 2,200 meters above sea level. Usually, for every 1,000 meters increase in elevation, the temperature falls by about 6 degrees Celsius. Vegetation varies according to both altitude and climatic conditions. Inversion of temperature. It is a reversal of the normal behavior of temperature in the troposphere, in which a layer of cool air at the surface is overlain by a layer of warmer air. Temperatures near the Earth are due to less amount of insolation received due to the shorter days and excessive radiation due to the longer nights. In an inversion, the air instead of becoming cooler becomes warm. Places near the equator usually get more heat. Places farther away from the equator often have lower average temperatures for the year. It becomes colder on moving north or south from the equator, and there are separate summer and winter seasons. Compare the temperatures of 3 different places, that is Singapore, Shanghai, and Vladivostok, with increasing distance from the equator. The average maximum monthly temperature of Singapore, Shanghai, Vladivostok. Average temperature for the year, calculated by adding maximum and minimum temperature readings for every month and then dividing by a total number of readings. Average temperature equals maximum temperature plus minimum temperature, whole divided by n. Compare the temperatures of these cities and answer questions like, which place is located near the equator? Which place is warmer in July? Which place has the most extreme climate? Temperature measurement. Mean temperature, calculated by adding the maximum and minimum temperature and dividing it by 2. Range of temperature. It is a difference between the highest and lowest values recorded in a day, month or year. Temperature maps. It is used to show the temperatures for a region. Distribution of temperature in the world can be shown on a map by isotherms. India is a vast country with temperature variations in different regions. To find out the hotness and coldness of a place, a temperature map can be used. Look at the map and find out which part of India usually have the highest average temperature in January. No region has an average temperature higher than 30 degrees Celsius. Northern India is cooler than southern India. Now the question is, why is the north cooler in winter? Study the latitude and the average temperature in January of each of the following places. North is cooler than southern India during winters, due to increasing distance from the equator and sea. Study the following table showing sunrise and sunset time on 10th January. Thus, based on sunrise and sunset, we can say northern India remains cooler due to less insolation received during the day. Test yourself. Name the instrument, which is used to measure the temperature. A. Thermometer. B. Barometer. Hint, invented by Galileo. Answer is A. Thermometer. Let us recap. Sun is the major source of energy on the Earth's surface. The interaction of the insolation with the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth create heat, which is measured in terms of temperature. Different places have different temperatures.